In early 1957, the collaborative team that produced West Side Story, choreographer and director Jerome Robbins, playwright and screenwriter Arthur Lawrence, composer Leonard Bernstein, and lyricist Stephen Sondheim were facing a crisis. They had written a show nobody seemed to want. In that period, musical theater was considered a diversionary genre, and potential sponsors were put off by the musical story about racial strife and gang warfare. Bernstein later noted that the idea of ending the first act of a musical with two corpses was considered reprehensible. One producer signed on for a time but backed out due to worries about financial viability, the lack of a big-name star to carry the piece, and the difficulty of restraining the creator's artistic demands. In desperation, Sondheim called a young friend of his named Hal Prince, who would go on to produce some of the most celebrated musicals of the 20th century. Prince saw West Side Story as an opportunity, and he jumped at it. The show was also difficult to cast. The collaborators' emphasis on realism, inspired by the precepts of method acting, dictated that everything happening on stage must be seamlessly integrated with the story. No single personality, song, dance, or piece of text would exist solely for presentational purposes. Thus, they were seeking actors who could simultaneously sing difficult music, dance, and act well, and pass as contemporary teenagers. They also had to accept an incredibly demanding rehearsal process that was defined by Robbins' ruthless attention to detail, which created a work environment that was often psychologically and sometimes even physically brutal.